This is a production of PBS Charlotte.
Just ahead on Carolina Impact.
You've heard of Cirque du Soleil? Well, this is Cirque du So Long. I'm Jeff Sonnier. Stick around. We'll take you inside the final performances here in Charlotte of Ringling Brothers, Barnum and Bailey Circus.
Plus, more than 1 million people live with a disability in North Carolina. A closer look at the challenges of getting back into the workforce. And our Carolina Cooking segment takes you to a local spot known for dishing up chili, chicken and dumplings, and banana pudding. Don't go anywhere. Carolina Impact starts right now.
Carolina Impact, covering the issues, people, and places that impact you. This is Carolina Impact.
Good evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Amy Burkett. The near sellout crowds at Charlotte's Spectrum Center in Uptown came to say goodbye to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus. Yep, you've probably heard about the circus closing down. Ringling Brothers calls it a business decision. But ending the circus doesn't end generations of Charlotte circus memories. We sent Carolina Impact's Jeff Sonnier to Spectrum Center for one last look at the spectacle so many of us grew up with.
Yeah, we are living the dream for most kids right now on the circus floor here at Ringling Brothers, the same show you saw as a kid, or with your kids, or even your grandkids, maybe all of the above. Well, after 146 years of the greatest show on earth, here in Charlotte, sadly, the show's over. Come on! Yep, no more tiger and lion tamers. No more daring young men and women on the flying trapeze.
You know, for us, it's a little bit sad, because it's the biggest show in America. It's the greatest show on earth. But for the other side, we're so excited to be at the last show, at the last performance. We're making history.
In its final days, the young faces here at Ringling Brothers still light up. And the longtime fans still get one last chance to feel that same old, when the curtain opens, when they send in the clowns, when the circus is back in town.
It's wonderful.
Will you miss it?
I don't think I will ever spend a day of my life not missing it. You really spend so much time with all these people. I'm getting emotional. Yeah.
Lindsay Merrifield of Goldsboro has been a Ringling Brothers clown for 3 years, and she says nothing will ever compare to putting on the makeup and being even a small part of Ringling Brothers circus history, especially now, knowing that for every audience, in every city, every performance is their last performance.
This is the last time they'll be able to see Ringling Brothers. And so the magic that we feel on the floor whenever that curtain opens, even though we're closing and there's so many emotions going on, the show still matters right now. The show is still going on right now, and that's what's important. Their logo says the greatest show on earth. They mean it. It is the greatest show on earth, on the entire earth. It is. It really is.
Fact is, the greatest show on earth hasn't been quite as great since retiring their famous performing elephants because of too many complaints from animal rights groups, which eventually translated into too few tickets to turn a profit. But here in Charlotte, the Ringling Brothers Farewell Tour brought back the big circus crowds, not to mention lots of circus memories.
I remember one time a guy riding a motorcycle across the tight wire and just things like that, but love the animals. And sometimes we'd go around to the loading dock, and it's where you could see the elephants and the horses and different animals that were there, and just always great memories.
When the circus came to town, we got out of school and we could stand along Independence Boulevard and watch the animal parade come and go over to the Coliseum and see the animals. So we were the elementary school that was closest to the Coliseum. We could see the circus animals every day while the circus was in town. That was really cool.
You'll find another chapter in Charlotte circus history here at Elmwood Cemetery, uptown, involving not the Ringling Brothers Circus, but a rival circus and an elephant trainer who didn't live here in Charlotte, but who did die here in Charlotte. John King's tombstone says he was killed September 28, 1880, by the elephant named Chief. So we searched back through library archives for that date's Daily Charlotte Observer newspaper. and the headline about a mad elephant that crushes his keeper and escapes. From a train car here on Trade Street, first to 5th Street, then to Tryon, then to Church Street. The paper says Chief was eventually captured and returned to John Robinson's traveling circus train using 2 other elephants, but not before there was wild confusion in the crowd, afraid to approach the elephant that was loose in the streets. Chief was shipped off to the zoo in Cincinnati, where he eventually had to be put down. His carcass was preserved and mounted on wheels for display at the University of Cincinnati. And that was after local restaurants served up what was described on their menus as loin of elephant. Meanwhile, Chief's trainer, John King, is still here in Elmwood Cemetery. The old Robinson Circus paying its respects with a brass band funeral and that elephant gravestone. And now Charlotte Circus fans pay their respects once more to the greatest show on earth that entertains again, right till the end.
To see when the kids look at you and they smile at you and they clap at you, it's amazing. And I know they're always gonna remember what they saw.
It's just Ringling is like the big show, and it's been a big impact for those hearing that it's closing. I mean, it's big.
You'll miss it as a performer.
Oh yes, every day of my life I will miss it.
Yeah, so glad we got a chance to see the final performances of Ringling Brothers here in Charlotte. Hope you got a chance too. In fact, the circus made stops in Greensboro and Raleigh as well as Charlotte in their farewell tour. Amy?
Thanks so much, Jeff. The statement announcing the closing calls the circus an unsustainable business for the company. Officials say the decline in circus ticket sales was a lot greater than anticipated after the elephants left the show just last year. Well, looking for a new job can be a difficult task, especially for someone with a disability. This impacts about 1.2 million people in North Carolina. In 2015, the unemployment rate for those without disabilities was about 6%, but for those with disabilities, it was nearly 20%. Carolina Impact's Jeff Rivenbark shows us some of the obstacles and what resources exist to help.
Chandler Henry starts his day at 6 a.m. He checks his email.
Good girl.
And finds a few minutes to give Bella
Good girl.
some loving before leaving for work. When he was 17, a trip to North Myrtle Beach forever changed his life.
I was with a group of friends staying in one of the beach houses there, and I was up on a second level deck, and there was a seat that was built into the deck, and I was standing on it and lost my balance, and I fell about 25 feet and landed on my neck.
An injury which left him paralyzed from the waist down. A year later, he graduated high school, enrolled at Central Piedmont Community College, and transferred to UNC Charlotte, where he earned a master's degree in accounting and obtained a CPA license. Immediately following the accident, he worked with a vocational rehabilitation counselor who helped him with decisions about his future. A milestone accomplishment took place in 2013 when Chandler landed a job with Bank of America.
So then, we're talking 14 years of hard work and effort, and to bring all that together and start that chapter of my life was a big step for sure.
A counselor with the North Carolina Division of Vocational Rehabilitation, Donna Sabotkin helps people with disabilities like Chandler.
When someone gets a job, especially after a long period of unemployment, it just makes such a dramatic difference in their lives to feel like they have a purpose and have a place to go and contribute their skills and knowledge and feel valued.
Vocational rehabilitation serves more than 50,000 people across North Carolina annually, and about 3,000 in Mecklenburg County alone.
Depending on their individualized needs, we may work with someone from a few months to many, many years.
As in Chandler's case, counselors also work with employers and hiring managers, urging them to consider qualified applicants with disabilities because they're often an untapped talent pool.
Often it's just because a particular employer has not been exposed to employees with disabilities and is just not aware of how someone may be accommodated.
Andrew Breen enjoys taking a break by spending time with his dogs.
Go get it.
At 64, Breen has had Parkinson's for 23 years. It's a disease that impacts the central nervous system and affects his motor skills.
see a lot of listings.
He hasn't had a real job in 4 years, and lately job interviews have been sparse despite hundreds of jobs he finds each week.
I want to be judged the same as anybody else. I want to have the opportunity to say, here's what I can do for your company, or here's what I can't do, and prove it to you.
Even though he has a resume full of achievements, Andrew says he gets about the same reaction from hiring managers.
When I tell someone flat out, and I'm honest with them, I have Parkinson's, but I can live with it, and you should be able to too, that never works.
While it's illegal to discriminate against applicants with disabilities, Andrew thinks it's happened to him lots of times.
I had one fellow tell me that he's, without knowing my medical history, said that I'm afraid you'll have a seizure. You know, people with Parkinson's don't have seizures.
He carves out a few hours daily browsing job websites and networking.
I have a plaque which says never, never, never give up.
Still, he says no amount of determination takes away the sting of rejection.
A, it hurts, but B, it makes you feel like you haven't done the right sales job.
When it comes to finding work, Andrew says people with disabilities want only one thing.
All they want is the chance. You don't have to give them a permanent job, just give them a chance, and I think you'll see that they're hungry and they're dedicated and they're skilled.
As for Chandler, he knows the career success he has today would have been much more difficult without the support of his family and the assistance of his vocational rehabilitation counselors.
Hard work pays off, but I also would say it should be encouraging for others to know that there's that type of support out there, and that if you're willing to put in the effort, that you too can find success and you can make the best out of a tough and challenging situation.
He's grateful to work in an environment that focuses on the skills he brings to his job and to be treated just like anyone else. For Carolina Impact, I'm Jeff Rivenbark reporting.
Thanks so much, Jeff. We saw Chandler in that last story jumpstart his career by taking classes at Central Piedmont Community College. Well, you probably know by now that the college, which also holds the broadcast license to PBS Charlotte, has a brand new president, and I am thrilled to have Dr. Candy Diedemeyer joining us here in the studio right now. Dr. Diedemeyer, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. I'm here today just to talk with you and get to know WTVI a little better.
Well, we like to say welcome home, because transitions are always a little bit difficult, but we want people to understand you have been in the community college system for a long time. You even launched your education after high school in a community college. So tell us a little bit about your history.
Well, I am a graduate of a North Carolina high school. My parents are from the High Point area, and they've gone back and forth between North Carolina and Florida. I was actually born in Florida. And so after high school graduation in North Carolina, 2 days later, we moved back to Florida. And when I went back to Florida, I went to a community college there for 2 years, finished my degree before going on to the University of South Florida. It was a great part of my life.
And you've ended up spending over 2 decades in the community college system as an educator, correct?
I have. It's been about 24 years now. And it's been fascinating because I've spent time in 3 systems, Florida, North Carolina, and 2 years in the Kentucky system working in community college. And knowing those systems differently and bringing that experience now to the presidency, now at the second institution as president, has been really great and helpful.
And you came to us most recently from College of the Albemarle, back in Elizabeth City, over hanging out in the Outer Banks. You liked working on your tan in the summertime at the beaches?
There was no time to work on my tan. But we did have an opportunity to visit at the Outer Banks and the beach a number of times while we lived there for almost 7 years, and that's always nice. But this is hard work, and I consider it really a calling and a great mission field, so to speak. So I'm a workaholic, unfortunately. So.
Well, we can relate with that, because if you're called to do something, that passion kind of drives you and you can't stop. So I can understand that. But you do stop sometimes, so I have to show a picture of your beautiful family and give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about the loves of your life.
Well, the first love, of course, is my faith, but I have a wonderful little family. I've been married, it'll be 27 years in May, to the most amazing person I've ever met. He is really my rock in terms of, he keeps me grounded. And then just 8.5 years ago, we were blessed to have a little girl. And
Zoe, right?
Zoe. And so she's in 3rd grade and has now transitioned with us, obviously. But they're amazing, and that's really kind of where I get my joy from those 3 things. And so I'm very grateful.
We were able to catch up with you on the first day of classes at CPCC and watch you greeting the students, and to see you light up around those students. And I recently heard you say that you were really in the transformation business. Help us understand that.
Well, I really, I grew up the 5th of 5 children. I never thought that I would go on to be a college president. never thought I'd be grateful or gifted to do this and equipped, really called to do it. And so I have really spent my life trying to be a very transformed person. And I think what we do is transformational. We take folks from situations that are good, they're coming back, maybe they've lost a job and need retraining, or they're coming right out of high school. But we also have individuals who come to us who really, from a generational standpoint, really need upward mobility, economic mobility. And so we are in the life transformation business. And I really call this very privileged work. It's exciting. I get up every day excited about what we do for students and know that I can have an impact on people's lives. And at CPCC, you know, I now get to do that in maybe a much greater way, given that we serve so many more students than I've ever had the privilege of doing. So I did light up. The highlight is to get out and see those students, because that's mission essence for us as an institution, for what we do for our community, but in each one of those individual lives, and each one of those students matters. And they all have a story. I had a story. Mine is fifth of 5 kids, worked full-time, mostly while I was going to school, on financial aid. And that's the story of many of our students. So I'm so excited for them, and I want to see all of them finish and be successful.
So from a faculty and staff standpoint, everyone wants to know, what's her leadership style? So that's their question. You know, help us get to know, what is your leadership style?
Well, I think it's been situational, you know, as I've grown into different leadership roles. So I do think it's situational. I like to be very approachable, very authentic. You know, if I'm asked what I think about something, or I engage in a conversation with a faculty or staff member, I'm going to do a lot of listening. And if they ask me what I think, I'm going to share that. So I think very approachable. I do have a lot of vision. Sometimes there's a capacity to that. We talked about that. You know, sometimes I see where we need to go for students and for our community, but we need to make sure we have the capacity to do that, not only as an institution, but individually and as a core group of faculty and staff trying to deliver on that. So yeah, it's really great work. I'm so grateful.
Before we run out of time, I also heard you say you love to celebrate. And as someone who's very driven and very goal-oriented, help us understand that a lot of people with that style of personality aren't really into the celebration factor.
Well, you asked me about getting my tan, and I said I was a workaholic, and I didn't probably go to the beach as often as I should have, while I had the great opportunity of doing that. I learned to celebrate through my husband. Birthdays are a big thing for him, but when you're the fifth of 5 kids and maybe of modest means, you know, birthdays were okay, and Christmases were great. Everybody had something, but he really taught me. I just thought birthdays were like another day, and so birthdays were one of the things that he really helped me learn to celebrate. And then when my daughter went through a life-threatening illness, it makes you really step back and go, you need to be grateful for every day. Life is very short, it's very purposed, and I am a very purposed and intentional person, always have been, but probably more so in the last 10 years. And so celebration is really important, because today is a gift, and people are gifts. And so I get this amazing job where I interact with tremendous people, and I'm in the transformation business, and I'm so passionate about what we do. And so we should celebrate that. So I try to do that a little bit more often than I used to.
Well, you know what? Let me be one of many people to say that I predict that you are a very great gift to this community, and you're going to do great things with your team, and we're excited just to be a part of that. So welcome home, and we look forward to doing great things together. We appreciate your time so much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Remember when you were a kid how exciting it was to get something in the mail? These days I just get bills. But for hundreds of kids right here in our community, they're getting a free book in the mail each and every month, thanks to a famous country music star committed to helping others. Carolina Impact's Sheila Saints tells us about the Dolly Parton Imagination Library and its goal to help kids read.
And what is she doing?
Girl.
Yeah, she's a girl.
Preschooler Jaden Thomas holds his first very own book.
He just really likes his books because they're his.
Boom.
He points to pictures and says the words,
Elephant. Elephant.
How did you know that was an elephant? Because you're so smart.
He's learning that reading is fun.
I think it's very important to teach them early. He's 2. So I think by the time he gets, you know, way older, he'll be reading a book just by himself. And I think that's important too.
The Dolly Parton Imagination Library provided the book free of charge, with more to come. The country music star launched the program in honor of her hardworking father, who was unable to read.
She decided that she was going to make sure that every child in Sevierville, which is where she came from, had books, so that no matter what might happen in their lives, that they would have books available to them.
I think I can, she said.
So she started a campaign of delivering books to children's homes in that community, and it has now spread both nationally, statewide, nationally, and internationally.
Children enrolled in the Dolly Parton Imagination Library receive one free book a month from the time they're born until the age of 5, for a total of 60 books, starting with the inspirational classic, The Little Engine That Could.
A little engine could.
Yes.
Choo-choo.
And we know that literacy is the key to successful lifetime learning. Literacy opens the door for any child to escape their environment and dream about their possibilities. With literacy, they are able to explore new worlds. They are able to project themselves and put themselves in other people's stories, in other countries. They are able to spin their imagination and just dream to be what they would like to be.
I can do it, so can you.
Since 1995, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library has mailed 80 million high-quality, age-appropriate books with one goal: to foster a love of reading. And studies show families involved in the program read more frequently to children, which prepares them for continued learning. A skill that's vital, since only 40% of Charlotte's public school third graders read at or above grade level. Recently, Mecklenburg County joined the Imagination Library in hopes of turning that statistic around.
In the fall of 2014, Hearts Beat as One came to Smart Start of Mecklenburg County and asked if we would partner with them to administer this program. We started with zip codes, which we identified as a low social economic community that had limits to resources, both in the home as well as in the community. And we have now expanded to 12 zip codes, and then we're putting out the word through partnerships with the Charlotte Housing Authority, Habitat for Humanity, the hospital systems, and our library systems.
Clickety, 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 clack. I believe in you.
So we're a great partner with the program because the program is about building home libraries and in family engagement as well. So we can help parents kind of understand what to do with those books and how they can better engage kids around books and reading.
Trucks crossing. 1, 2, 3.
Parents like Valentina Morales.
When I was younger, my family wasn't the most fortunate in a financial aspect. So our form of entertainment was through reading, through books. Going to the library was always exciting for us because it would be like a trip to like an amusement park or something. So the fact that I can incorporate that into my son's life at a minimal cost, 0, is great. They put up lights so you can see. I think the value in this program is not only the financial aspect, where these books are free at no cost and low-income families can receive these books, but also that kids will grow a passion for reading. Because if they see their parents reading to them and if they see their parents have a passion for it, then they will too.
A passion for reading that starts early and may last a lifetime. For Carolina Impact, I'm Sheila Saints reporting.
Thanks so much, Sheila. Right now, the Dolly Parton Imagination Library has enough funding to enroll 3,000 local children, but they'd like to expand it to all 44,000 children who live in the 12 eligible zip codes across Mecklenburg County. If you know a child in need you'd like to enroll, please head to our Carolina Impact page at pbscharlotte.org for all the details. Well, with its retro coffee cup sign, Loopy's Cafe has welcomed diners on Charlotte's Monroe Road since owner Loopy Duran opened the place in 1987. They're known for chili, chicken and dumplings, and banana pudding, some of my absolute favorites. Some say Loopy's has an atmosphere like the old TV show Cheers, where everybody knows your name. In tonight's Carolina Cooking segment, Jason Terzis explains why so many regulars just keep on coming back.
In the mood for some comfort food? Well, look no further.
Talk about a Charlotte institution. Loopy's is it.
Oh, I love it. It is an awesome place to come eat.
Nestled between the Greer Heights and Elizabeth neighborhoods, right where Monroe Road ends and East 7th Street begins, Loopy's Cafe has been serving locals for 30 years.
I came here in the fall of 1988, and Loopy opened in '87.
I've been eating in Loopy's since I was probably 13 years old, and I'm 40.
Just take a step inside the place and you'll instantly realize you're somewhere just a little bit different.
I think it holds a special place in people's hearts.
The walls are filled with anything and everything. Neon beer signs and John Wayne, old 45 records, cassette tapes, artwork, road signs, a pink flamingo, Kermit the Frog. There's even an old dirty bike hooked onto the ceiling above the bar.
I wanted something that was homey, eclectic.
If owner Loopy Duran wanted to create a unique vibe, she succeeded. But it's not the wall decor that's been bringing people in here for 30 years, it's the food, good old comfort food.
It's good Southern stick-to-your-ribs food. It makes people happy. There's no pretension. It's just, here you go. Here's a big old plate of chili. It's sloppy, it's messy. Here's a pile of napkins, dig in, and everybody leaves like, oh, I'm so full, I can't move. And it's like, that's what we do here.
Loopy's features Southern favorites with big portions and affordable prices.
And it's famous for its chili.
Loopy's doesn't just do chili, they do 4 kinds of chili. Southern, veggie, Cincinnati, and Texas.
I've been to Cincinnati, had Cincinnati chili in Cincinnati, and Loopy does a good job at it. It is flavored with a little bit of cinnamon.
So the first time I came here, I ate her Texas chili. It's not tomatoey, it's mostly meat, and it's spicy. She uses a lot of pepper, and so it's got a nice kick to it.
It's good for clearing out your sinuses.
A popular way to get Loopy's chili is over a bed of spaghetti. The burgers and nachos are also extremely popular.
My favorite thing to eat is the nachos. I love their throwdown nachos. It's very good.
She's got the best nachos in town.
I like very much the hamburger. There is no doubt that the hamburgers is the best in town.
And you want bang for your buck? Daily specials featuring a main entree and a couple of sides are less than $8.
It's a very good value for your money.
It's always been my desire to whatever somebody else makes, I make it more affordable.
Loopy's is also about family, from the regulars who come to eat.
The key to me are the people that have walked through the door.
To the people that work here.
I've been here 10 and a half years. I don't want to be anywhere else. I love it here. These people are like my family.
Loopy's daughter Larkin practically grew up in the place.
I mean, it was a different kind of childhood, I guess.
She would get off the school bus out front.
Loopy's love for cooking began at a young age. After her own mother fell ill, Loopy went to live in the Thompson Orphanage.
When I was 13 years old, I was the youngest one on the parish council.
While at the orphanage as a young teen, Loopy became the cook's helper.
I can remember when Loopy Duran was the cook at a place called Mac Mac's in the Elizabeth neighborhood.
By the mid to late 80s, Loopy was ready to strike out on her own.
Having the history of the neighborhood, I had a following of people.
And those people followed her when she opened up Loopy's Cafe in January of '87.
Loopy is a wonderful lady. She became like a family almost for us. She's such a great person.
Several years ago, Carolina Panthers owner Jerry Richardson stopped in to grab a bite. He gave Loopy the Panthers shirt he was wearing that day.
He was eating at the bar one day, came out of the bathroom, and I see him zipping his jacket up. And he walks over and he goes, I'm giving you and the guys the shirt off my back today.
The last year or so has seen many changes at Loopy's. In November of 2015, a car smashed through the front entrance. Customers chipped in to help with repair costs. Then after breaking her ankle, Loopy decided to retire. Too many steps in the place to constantly navigate. She still comes in to visit with customers and still does the baking, pound cake, brownies, and cookies. In January, Loopy's Huntersville location, which had been open for 14 years, closed its doors.
It was a very hard decision to make, but I think it was the right one.
The focus now is on the original Charlotte location. Plans for 2017 include turning a side storage room into a beer garden tap room.
We bought a 7-tap system, and we want to start associating the Loopy's brand with craft beer in Charlotte.
After nearly a lifetime spent in the kitchen and 30 years running her own place, Loopy is taking a step back, letting the next generation transition in.
Years go by, you just wake up one day and go, oh my goodness, has it been that long?
The goal, continue serving the down-home Southern classics that customers love for as long as possible. For Carolina Impact, I'm Jason Terses reporting.
Thanks so much, Jason. Loopy's Cafe is open Monday through Fridays from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. and Saturdays noon to 10, but it's closed on Sundays. If you haven't done it already, please friend us on Facebook. You'll stay up to date on all your favorite PBS shows, and you'll have a chance to win some really cool monthly prizes. You never know what you're going to get. Well, thanks so much for joining us. We always appreciate your time and look forward to seeing you back here again next time on Carolina Impact. Good night, my friends.
Production of PBS Charlotte.